Okay, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna work on big toe extension. So extension meaning like your big toe lifting off of the ground towards you. You've got a muscle that kind of starts in the front of your leg. It goes down all the way to your big toe. If you're doing it correctly, or even if you're attempting to do it, you'll see that tendon kind of on the top of your foot start to pop out. As we do this though, what we want to focus on is still maintaining tripod foot contact with the ground. So what that's going to mean is your heel, this outside edge at the base of your pinky toe, and then this first MTP joint. So this big joint kind of at the base of the big toe. We want to maintain that tripod foot contact, because what's going to happen if you lose that, like let's say we're doing our big toe extension lifts. If you lose that contact, at that point you're actually just rotating through like the foot and the ankle versus just lifting that toe. So you want to kind of think about those 3 anchor points staying in contact with the ground. Now you have the option to do this with both feet together or each foot separately. There's kind of pros and cons to both. For some people, they want to really just focus on one foot at a time, and I totally get that. Sometimes after like surgery or injury where there's a huge deficit and like one foot's functioning well, the other foot is really struggling, I'll actually have people do them together because if the good foot is firing, it's kind of a reminder to the brain of what the bad foot should do. So there's kind of pros and cons to both. I think for the purpose of this class, I'm going to show you just doing both feet together so that we move a little bit quicker. So again, you can sit, you can stand, kind of however you want. You want to be relatively comfortable. And this goes without saying, but everything in this class should be done without your shoes and without your socks. So what we're going to focus on first, our 4 little toes are going to stay in contact with the ground, and then we don't want to see any scrunching of the toes. We want them to stay kind of elongated and honestly taking up as much room on the ground as possible. That's what should happen naturally with our feet. So kind of be mindful of what your other toes are doing. If you see them kind of scrunching and gripping, that's compensatory. We don't want to see that with what we're working on. So what we're going to do is 4 little toes are going to stay in contact with the ground, and then we're just going to work on lifting our big toe, and you should see that tendon kind of popping out. You're going to lift it, you're going to hold, and then you're going to come back down. If you cannot do this, if you cannot isolate the big toe without the 4 smaller toes, to start with, what you can do is actually hold those little toes down. And over time, you won't need to do this, but in the short term, until your brain figures out what we're asking it to do, you can absolutely do that. Otherwise, we're going to go for about 10 lifts. So we're going to lift those big toes, hold, and then control our lower. And then as we're doing this, we're not just letting the feet kind of roll out. If we did that, we would lose that anchor point kind of at the base of our big toe. All right, that's 5. Let's go 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and we're going to shift gears. Now we're going to plant the big toe. We're going to lift the 4 smaller toes. For this class, we're just going to lift those together. At some point down the road, we'll start separating them out. So basically, you have another muscle that forms 4 tendons that will supply each of your smaller toes. So when you're doing this, you will feel or see some contractions on the top of your foot. What we want to be mindful of now is that we don't lose contact of this outer edge of the foot, in which case it would look like we're just kind of rolling our knees and our ankles in as we do this. That means we're moving at the ankle and we're not actually getting the toe movement that we want. So same rules apply. If you need to hold your big toes down to lift these 4 little ones, you can. But we're going to hit 10 of these. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this is 8, 9, and 10. Okay, what we're going to do now is we are going to work on toe splay. So we're going to work on the ability for your toes to spread out. So what we're gonna do, and we will lose our tripod foot contact here because we're gonna be lifting those metatarsal heads up. But I want you to lift all your toes. We are gonna spread them all, especially that big toe and those pinky toes. And then you are gonna set them down spread and elongated. So no toe scrunching. You're trying to make your foot take up as much room on the ground as possible. This is your body's way of increasing its base of support. It's how your body kind of gets grounded and creates stability. So this is really important. This is also going to affect your big toe alignment. So a lot of times people that have worn traditional shoes, you're going to see the big toe kind of drift towards the other toes. That's the start of a bunion. What we really should see instead is good alignment with an active arch is going to have the big toe actually drifting away from the 4 smaller toes. That requires a contraction of some muscles on the inside of the arch here. That's what we're training in this, as long as your big toe is actually moving away from the other ones as we work on splaying. So we're gonna hit 10 of these. So we're gonna lift all 5 toes. We are gonna spread them out, and then we are going to set them down spread. We're gonna lift them up again, spread them as far as you can, and set them down. Lift, spread, set them down. Lift, spread, set them down. This is 5, 6, 7. This is 8. This is 9 and 10.